All right, guys. Well, the next teams we're going to talk about are going to be the other two of the four that have made it to the semis, and that would be Joe's squad and Andy's squad. We called Matt the drafter and Bradley the manager. This one we're going to have Joe. He's hotter than hot, and Andy's, well, what's hotter than hot? What is it? No, what's it? What's cooler than being cool? Ice cold. Andy's ice cold. So Joe's hotter than hot. Andy's ice cold. Joe comes in on a 7-game win streak into the playoffs. Andy comes in on a 4-game losing streak. But let's break down the teams. How do they get here? What are they doing? Joe's 11-3 in a regular season, 1,520 points. He gave up the least amount of points in the league at 1,372. It's not too far off. There was some 1400s, low 1400s, a lot of people around there. So some years there's like an extremely huge gap between the person who gives up the least to the next closest. But this actually wasn't too far off, so not terrible. So won 7 in a row heading into the playoffs. Now 8 in a row, obviously, after winning last week. So what was so good about his team, or what were his good picks? Well, he got Eckler as the 8th overall pick, and he's the number 2 running back. He took Waller, which he did. He was doing really well through 10 games, or he's only played 10 games. Second tight end, but he's only the 14th, so he's had to piecemeal that a little bit. Mike Evans was solid for him until this week, where he's going to be out with his hammy. He was the 9th ranked wide receiver, drafted him 13th at the position. Deontay Johnson, 10th wide receiver, drafted him 19th. And then one of his big ones, Fournette, the 4th ranked running back, again now out for the year, was the 29th running back off the board. Good pick there. And a couple of other big ones for him. Cooks, he's the 15th wide receiver, 36th wide receiver off the board. And Pollard is actually a 25, almost a RB2 on his own, even behind Zeke. 25th running back on the year, 42nd drafted running back. So when we look at his running backs, he's got the 2nd ranked running back. He had the 4th ranked running back and the 25th with Pollard, who could just be a flex play, but didn't really need him as a flex play. Or he probably was using him as a flex play. I don't know, but because he had Evans and Deontay in there as the 9th and 10th receivers, and Cook. Yeah, he's probably using it as a flex play because he had Cooks. He had 9th, 10th, and 15th ranked receivers. Probably starting those every week. Fell a little flat in Cortland Sutton. He just didn't mesh well with Bridgewater. He's probably going to do all right now that Drew Lock's there. So we'll see what he does. But in any case, one of his big pickups and things that's helped him has been Dallas defense, especially down the stretch here. And first-ranked fantasy defense just got them off of the free agent pool. So good for Joe, hotter than hot. Now Andy, he finished at 8-6, 1,499 points, only like 20 behind Joe. But he lost 4 heading into the playoffs. Obviously, he got a win last week, albeit, sorry, Darcy, that was just a sad matchup of you guys. 86 to 60 something. Oh, listen, I can't say that. My team barely put up, I think, 50, so it's been a really rough year for me. But in any case, looking at his draft, he took Zeke with the 6th overall pick, 7th running back on the year. It probably doesn't seem like that, though, to him with everything. But this guy, the beginning of the year looked like he was on fire, because then his next picks, Hopkins, Woods, Hunt, Dak. Those are his rounds 2 through 5 picks, right? And Hopkins was crushing it through 10 games. Woods, through 9 games, was averaging almost 13 points a game. Hunt was averaging almost 13 points a game. He's only played 8 games, and he's out. So now Hopkins, 31st wide receiver. Woods is 36th wide receiver. Hunt, 36th running back. So they all look worse than the position in which they were drafted. But, man, those injuries have really hurt them as of late. But speaking of injuries, going back to Joe's team, Fournette out, Evans out, Waller's going to be out. Maybe Eckler out, but he's got Justin Jackson as a handcuff in case he needs to. Cook's out, but he may play still, right? He could be. So Joe's team's looking. He's got to hope Cooks plays this week. But anyway, so back to Andy's team. team started out, he was on fire, right? But then recently, obviously, Hopkins out, Robert Woods IR for the year, Hunt's been gone, Dak's been underperforming recently. So he actually, I think if I remember correctly, he started benching Dak, going against the namesake. But he's got Dallas Goedert, so let's keep going down the list because then this is where he gets good. Okay, you drafted Kenyon Drake, but now Dallas Goedert, sixth tight end this year. You drafted him as the ninth tight end. He's been solid. But then his next pick there, what is that? The eighth round. In the eighth round, 41st overall wide receiver. Now the number 2 wide receiver in the game, and that is Deebo Samuel. Now that was his pick, and that's kept him really solid for his team there. Jacoby Myers way late. He's not been a stellar or a stud, but drafted him as the 56th wide receiver, and he's sitting there at 40. And the Bills' defense, he hasn't really had to tinker or find any other defenses. Like, they've been solid for him. So he has a solid team. He's run into some issues down the stretch, but maybe coming together nicely this week. I see he's got Dak back at the helm and Zeke starting. He's made some pickups, and Debo getting him off to a nice start, and Goddard might have a nice week. I hope so. Anyways, they need him in the league, but. Anyway, so that's the other two. That's how they got there. That's been their picks. I hope you've enjoyed these videos. Yeah, take care, guys. Merry Christmas.